All right, welcome back here at the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We continue. So Ben Roethlisberger, he goes year to year. How about if he says, I'm done? You still have a lot of weapons on offense. What would be the strategy the Steelers would employ, Colin? What would you do if you were the Steelers?
I would have already drafted his successor and groomed the guy for a couple years.
So you don't like Landry Jones or Josh Dobbs?
Landry Jones can't play in the PSL at that field next to the Church Brew Works. He stinks. He might be a real nice guy, and he loves God and all that stuff.
Dobbs will be their quarterback in 2020.
Oh, no. Landry Jones is no good. Come on. But I would have already drafted his successor. I think this makes Ben Roethlisberger look at things like, maybe if I have just a little bit left, I may want to retire in an offseason, though, because what if AB gets hurt? What if Le'Veon Bell gets hurt? I don't think the Steelers would do the same thing to me, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think to just say this flat out, even if they win it this year, I still think he comes back for one more because he knows he has Bell, he knows he has Brown. If they need to replace him, I think this is a spot where you try to splurge or find somebody out there that you can pay money to, because if you have everybody else but him coming back and you entrust that with Landry Jones, you've just shut the window artificially on your own with a roster full of talent that could otherwise
get it done. Here comes Will telling us about Kirk Cousins.
Exactly. I kind of threw it out as a joke. Look, if Ben retires,
you can't put Landry Jones or Josh Dobbs there. Period.
Look, let's remember, though, the identity of this team is starting to flip. The defense is still young. The only guy you got to pay next year is Shazier. The defense looks like it's going to be pretty good for a while. The window is going to be open for 2 or 3 more years. You want to bring in a 24-year-old that you don't know what you're going to get next year. I think Kirk Cousins is good enough.
I know it.
If he's capable, I think he can win a Super
Bowl. Colin, you like that? Win a Super Bowl. You like that?
I got it. Write it down right here.
How about Alex Smith or Eli Manning?
Oh my God, Alex Smith. He turned into a human crater.
He's going to be available.
No. Eli Manning I'd consider before Alex Smith.
I mean, if they want to get somebody right now, he probably would be cheaper because he's older.
How about we just live with this reality? The Steelers are like a 7-win team the day Ben retires.
I think we don't have to confront that, though, till this contract's up. I know he's made a ton of money, but I still think that guy's going to play the last 2 years of this deal after this year. I think he's playing better all of a sudden late in this season, so he knows he's still got it. I think he plays the duration of this deal out.
I agree with that. I agree. Will, I want to ask you about a hit that you very seldom see Bill Belichick apologize for one of his players for what was a dirty hit, but Rob Gronkowski took out Trey Wilson. He was down, play was over, and he went after him, got him a concussion. He should be suspended, but there's not that much reaction to this. And if it was somebody else, if it was Ndamukong Suh or Vontaze Burfict, you would have all sorts of stuff going on, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. Look, Mike, I have an 8-year-old. He likes Gronk. Gronk has like a video show on Nickelodeon that he likes. Gronk's kind of an oaf, kind of a bro. Gronk's also taking a lot of shots. And maybe he just thought, you know what, maybe this guy had taken a shot at him earlier in the game. We don't even know. Look, it's out of character for him. And it's not a good look for the Patriots.
It's egregious and ridiculous, especially because it caused a head injury.
Right. I mean, if you would have just seen the 7 on the jersey and been able to see nothing else, that it was a Patriot whose number ended in 7, you'd have thought Rodney Harrison got back on the field because that's how late and dirty it was. That was the kind of hit that Rodney Harrison was known for making before the NFL cared quite to the extent that they do about this stuff.
And if they hand out their level of jurisprudence based on how a guy reacts to the hit, that is to say, is he hurt or is he not? The guy was concussed, right, Chris?
The NHL method, basically, of doing that stuff. Exactly. So I'd suspend him. That's what he deserves.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Armina Stone, the smooth moves of the week. Presented by Armina Stone, the provider of some of the best granite you'll ever find, from them to your countertop. Let's go around the horn. Smooth moves.
All right. Can I give you a not smooth move? My not smooth move is this goof from Squirrel Hill who's suing Kennywood because he got water in his eye from the raging rapids. Come on. This guy's the biggest goof I've ever heard of. I hope he doesn't get a penny because he doesn't deserve it. Not smooth move.
All right, well, I'm going to give my smooth move to Gateway High School freshman kicker Jason Jenkins, 5'2", 105 pounds, has not made a field goal all year, kicked a 23-yarder in the state semifinals to send the Gators, Monroeville's team, to the state finals for the first time. Good on that kid.
Kirk Cousins could go there next year. They need a quarterback.
If Terry Smith was coaching, he'd still get him.
Don Hall's offense, any quarterback in the world would want to play for that guy.
Not smooth move for me. My earpiece just popping out and me adjusting it while still on camera. I don't know, smooth move of the week, I guess. You know what it is? It's Jimbo Fisher. Coming off the oil money plane at College Station, Texas. They have a literal, like the carpet, the black carpet rolled out for him. He barely acknowledges the band, gets into a black SUV. It looked presidential. It looked like something you see on CBS Evening News. He barely acknowledged anyone. $75 million, pretty smooth for his bank account. Very loyal guy, that Jimbo Fisher.
My smooth move goes to Ricky Fowler. Amid all the Tiger talk, Tiger Woods back. He rattles off 7 birdies in a row, flirts with a 59, and wins the Hero World Championship. Those are the smooth moves of the week, provided to you by Armina Stone, Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you will find. Give your smoothest countertops to the area here. Score a touchdown with new granite countertops from Armina Stone. We'll be right back.